Hello, it's Red Recap speaking. Today, I will be giving a rundown of the movie 3 Days to Kill, which was released in 2014. Please note that there will be spoilers in my review. Without further ado, let's dive into the film. Alright, there's this movie where a CIA agent, Vivi DeLay, heads to CIA HQ to meet the director. During the meeting, she's given a mission to nab a guy named Wolf, who's been on the CIA's radar for a decade. Wolf, a former German soldier, has been peddling explosives to terrorists worldwide. He's got a right-hand man named Albino, tasked with selling bombs in Serbia. The director tells Vivi that a team's been dispatched to secure the bombs and nab Albino, while her job is to take out Wolf. Before she goes, Vivi asks about the agent on the mission. The director spills the beans. It's Ethan Renner, a seasoned CIA vet. Meanwhile, Ethan's just wrapped up a mission in a hotel room, wiping out a terrorist group. Other agents are keeping an eye on the hotel through CCTV. Another agent, Yasmin, disguises herself as a janitor and finds a bunch of bodies in a room. She figures Ethan's done. She gives him a briefcase with a scanner. Ethan heads back to the stakeout, ready for Albino to make his move. When Albino arrives, Ethan's phone alarm goes off, reminding him it's his daughter's birthday. He takes the call and proceeds to scan Albino's bag. Ethan then bumps his suitcase into Albino's to create a distraction, giving him a chance to walk away and quickly hand the briefcase to another CIA agent for immediate examination. He asks for permission to make a 5-minute call to his daughter on her birthday and manages to swap his watch for coins at a store to use a payphone. Inside the hotel, Albino accidentally crosses paths with Yasmin and realizes she's an agent. The team in the car gets word that Yasmin's cover is blown and instructs all agents to move immediately. However, one of the agents stops them, as the scanning process still needs to be finished. Once it's confirmed that Albino's bag contains a bomb, all agents move in to apprehend him. Inside the hotel, Albino realizes he's a CIA target. He contacts the Wolf and gets orders to call off the planned deal. To make his escape, Albino tragically kills Yasmin, and his team tries to flee. Meanwhile, Ethan, on the phone with his daughter, spots a CIA agent tailing him. He leaves his car, and shortly after, a fierce firefight breaks out between the CIA agents and Albino's group right in front of the hotel. Albino shoots hotel staff to clear his path while Ethan ends the call and confronts Albino and his crew. Just as Ethan is about to enter the hotel, Albino presses a button, setting off a bomb inside and sending Ethan flying. When he comes to, he sees a grim scene of injured and deceased CIA agents from the earlier shootout. Ethan quickly rises to his feet and tries to catch Albino, who's making a run for it through the hotel lobby roof. Despite taking out Albino's crew, Albino manages to escape. Vivi watches from a distance as Ethan pursues Albino. Suddenly, Ethan is overcome by a severe headache. Despite this, he manages to shoot Albino in the leg before collapsing. Later, Ethan wakes up in the hospital, where a doctor delivers the grim news that he has brain cancer which has also spread to his lungs. He's given a prognosis of just 3 more months to live. Due to his condition, the CIA can no longer work with Ethan and requests his retirement. As a token of appreciation for his years of service, a CIA agent who visited Ethan before his retirement presents him with a watch. The scene shifts to Paris, where Ethan is on his way home. However, upon arrival, he's stunned to find a family named Jules living in his house. It turns out they moved in because the house appeared vacant. Ethan heads to the police station to have Jules's family removed, but the law protects displaced individuals during winter, leaving the police unable to assist him. Helpless, Ethan has no choice but to allow Jules and his family to stay in his house. Ethan takes a firm stand, brandishing a gun to make it clear that he's in charge. He warns Jules that he can remain, but only if he abides by Ethan's rules. That evening, Ethan opts to stay in a hotel, reminiscing by watching videos of his daughter from her younger years. It hits him that he's been away from his family for a significant amount of time due to CIA missions. The next morning, Ethan calls his wife, Christine, and arranges a meeting at a lawyer's office. There, he shares the devastating news of his illness with her and attends to some important paperwork concerning their family's inheritance. Ethan expresses his strong desire to meet his daughter, Zoe. Ethan and Christine pick up Zoe from school, but she seems distant and disappointed, clearly affected by Ethan's frequent absence. Shortly after, Zoe introduces her boyfriend, Hugh. Despite his efforts to connect with his daughter, Ethan offers her a bike as a gift, but she declines and chooses to go home with her friend instead. Eager to rebuild their relationship, Ethan invites Zoe to dinner. Following their meeting, Ethan explores the city of Paris on the very bike he had given to Zoe earlier. While at a market, he runs into Vivi, who tries to strike up a conversation. Initially uninterested, Ethan changes his mind when Vivi shows him the watch he had exchanged for coins to call his daughter in Serbia. Vivi invites Ethan to talk in her car and discloses that she's working for the CIA director and is on a mission to apprehend the wolf. She asks for Ethan's help. At first, Ethan declines, explaining he has other plans in Paris. However, Vivi provides him with medication that could potentially treat his illness. Armed with the medicine, Ethan rethinks his decision and agrees to join Vivi in the mission to track down and eliminate the wolf. They set off on their task, arriving at a location where Ethan eliminates the guards. Ethan subdues them and takes their leader as a hostage. Unfortunately, the captive doesn't possess the information about the wolf that Vivi is after, leading her to kill him. Failing to acquire the necessary intel, Ethan and Vivi depart. In the elevator, Vivi helps Ethan administer the medication she gave him. As part of their agreement to go after the wolf, Ethan makes some requests, all of which Vivi readily agrees to. When they reach Christine's house, Ethan hears Zoe scream and rushes to her room. It turns out she was startled by her own messy hair. Shortly after, Christine comes home and reprimands Ethan for his tardiness. He explains that he met someone who might be able to help with his illness, but Christine remains skeptical, assuming it's some sort of experimental treatment he's been given. As Ethan gets ready to rest, he suddenly experiences an odd sensation in his body and starts to have hallucinations. With no improvement, he reaches out to Vivi, who calmly suggests he try drinking vodka. The next morning, Christine is busy preparing for a trip to London. Ethan happily drives her, grateful to be reunited with his family. While in the kitchen, Zoe appears with a new hairstyle and sets a special ringtone for Ethan's calls. After dropping Zoe off at school, Vivi informs Ethan that he only has 3 days to locate and eliminate the wolf. To motivate him, she hands him a check for $150,000. Ethan and Vivi get back to their mission, with Vivi directing Ethan to find a man named Mitat, who can assist in tracking down the wolf. Upon arriving at Mitat's office, Ethan encounters 2 guards who mock him. He quickly dispatches them. Mitat returns to his office to find Ethan seated at his desk, relaxed. Ethan apprehends Mitat and brings him to his house for questioning. While in the midst of interrogating Mitat, Ethan gets an urgent call from Zoe's principal, demanding his immediate presence at the school to discuss her behavior. Ethan handles the situation calmly, addressing his daughter's misbehavior. Once he's done with the principal, Ethan returns to Mitat and transports him to an isolated spot for further questioning about Albino. However, Ethan's phone rings, and Zoe apologizes for her behavior at school, asking Ethan to join her in play. Ethan assures her they'll meet in the afternoon. Driven by his commitment as a father, Ethan decides to put his mission on hold and spend quality time with Zoe. They head to a playground and thoroughly enjoy themselves. After their playdate, Ethan takes Zoe to a cafe and suggests having dinner and watching a movie at home. Sadly, Zoe tells him she already has plans with her friend and can't accept his invitation. Ethan feels a bit disappointed, but he realizes he can't push his daughter to fulfill all his wishes. He understands and respects her choices. Later that afternoon, while shopping in a supermarket, Ethan is suddenly shot by a man. Thankfully, he's wearing a bulletproof vest and survives the attack. Ethan plays dead and swiftly retaliates, engaging the assailant in a fierce struggle. Eventually, Ethan gains the upper hand and shoots the man before he can harm him with a broken bottle. Upon searching the man's body, Ethan discovers he was one of Albino's henchmen. When he gets back home, Ethan finds a voicemail from Christine. He had earlier inquired about the name of Zoe's friend she was meeting. To his surprise, Christine admits she has no knowledge of Zoe's friend. This revelation raises questions and concerns for Ethan. It becomes clear that there may be something amiss, and he now faces uncertainty about the safety of his family. Ethan's instincts kick in, prompting him to take immediate action. He knows he must stay vigilant and dig deeper into the situation to protect Zoe and Christine from potential danger. The events of the day have added urgency to his mission, and he's determined to uncover the truth. Ethan went to Zoe's room, hoping to find some clues, and stumbled upon a message from a tattoo parlor. He wasted no time and headed straight to the parlor, but Zoe wasn't there. On his way out, he spotted a parked car with Zoe's bag inside. Acting swiftly, he snatched the bag and discovered an invitation card to a party, belonging to Mitat's daughter. Armed with this information, he made his way directly to Mitat's house to inquire about the party's location. Mitat's 2 daughters revealed that the event was at La Soiree's house, where a throng of teenagers were reveling. Ethan navigated the crowd, searching for Zoe, but suddenly, a headache struck him. Seeking a moment of respite, he slipped into the restroom. To his shock, he found Zoe being harassed by a group of boys. Ethan defended his daughter, incapacitating the boys before swiftly taking the inebriated Zoe out of the chaotic scene. The next morning, Zoe awoke to discover her father had stayed up all night, keeping a watchful eye on her. Ethan and Zoe got into a heated argument about the events of the previous night, especially when Ethan pressed the importance of Zoe riding her bike home. Feeling upset and believing that no one had taken the time to teach her, Zoe stormed off. Hearing this, Ethan was determined to rectify the situation by teaching Zoe how to ride a bike. Meanwhile, Ethan set out to abduct Mitat, who had just dropped off her daughters at school. He needed something crucial from Mitat for his mission. The stakes were high, and Ethan was ready to take bold steps to achieve his goal. In another location, some of Wolf's men took a suitcase and set off in a car. Ethan, who had been monitoring their movements, started making preparations, strapping a bomb to his leg. Riding a bicycle, he cautiously approached one of the cars in the group and discreetly planted a bomb beneath it. He then released gas into the car carrying the suitcase. As the bodyguards exited, Ethan quietly slipped into the smoke-filled vehicle and sped away, leaving behind the commotion. As another car, rigged with a bomb, gave chase, the explosive beneath the car Ethan had tampered with detonated, creating a diversion that allowed him to make his escape. The tense situation demonstrated Ethan's resourcefulness and determination in carrying out his mission. The next day, Ethan received a call from Vivi, who informed him that Albino was staying at a hotel in Paris. Ethan wasted no time and headed straight to the hotel for surveillance. While observing the car Albino was about to enter, he made a shocking realization: the wolf was inside. Ethan had encountered the wolf in a previous mission at a Serbian hotel. As Mitat, the wolf's driver, left the hotel, Ethan followed closely, but an accidental collision occurred between their vehicles. The wolf ordered Mitat to speed up, and his men opened fire on Ethan's car. Eventually, Ethan managed to corner the car and relentlessly pursued it until it plummeted off a bridge. The wolf and Albino escaped after the crash, prompting Ethan to assist the injured Mitat before giving chase to the wolf and Albino at a train station. The stakes were higher than ever, and Ethan was determined to bring them to justice. As Ethan geared up to confront the wolf, he was suddenly struck by a debilitating headache and ultimately lost consciousness. Albino, who was on the scene, informed the wolf that Ethan's illness had rendered him no longer a threat. Seizing the opportunity, Albino dragged Ethan dangerously close to the train tracks, intending to let an oncoming train take care of him. Thankfully, Ethan came to just in the nick of time, launching a desperate counterattack. He managed to push Albino onto the tracks, resulting in his instantaneous demise. It was a close call, but Ethan had managed to turn the tables in his favor. Following the encounter, Ethan made a valiant effort to apprehend the wolf. However, his condition worsened, leaving him unable to communicate with Vivi. He slipped into unconsciousness once more. Upon regaining consciousness, he discovered himself at Vivi's location, where she shared the news that his lab results indicated a successful treatment. Shortly after, Christine contacted Ethan, urgently requesting him to return home before it was too late for Zoe's party. Despite his reservations about pressing on with the mission, Vivi managed to persuade him once more to complete the task and eliminate the wolf. The stakes were high, and Ethan faced a crucial decision about his priorities. Simultaneously, the wolf briefed his men about the altered plans and directed them to escort him to his associate's residence. Ethan, now impeccably dressed, made his way back to Christine's house, astonishing both Christine and Zoe with his evening attire. At the party, Hugh introduced his parents, including the wolf, who happened to be his father's business partner. Pleasantries were exchanged, though an undercurrent of tension hung in the air between Ethan and the wolf. Fully aware of the threat the wolf posed to his daughter, Ethan urged Zoe to stick close to Hugh, ensuring her safety throughout the event. The stakes were higher than ever, and Ethan remained vigilant, ready to protect his family at all costs. As Christine observed Ethan's behavior, she came to the unsettling realization that he was on a mission. She voiced her disappointment, as Ethan had promised to leave behind his perilous profession. In response, Ethan assured her that he would explain everything in due time. Grieved, Christine left the room, making her way to a balcony. Meanwhile, the wolf, perceiving Ethan as a threat, commanded his men to neutralize him immediately. Just as Ethan joined Christine on the balcony, the wolf's henchmen launched an assault. Ethan retaliated fiercely, ultimately overpowering them and sending them hurtling off the balcony. Shortly after, as the wolf sought to escape in an elevator, Ethan took aim and fired, causing the elevator to come to an abrupt halt. The tension was escalating, and the showdown between Ethan and the wolf was reaching its climax. Approaching the damaged elevator, Ethan took a precise shot at the elevator rope, sending the wolf plummeting along with it. Ethan then descended to the ground floor, swiftly dispatching any of the wolf's men who tried to impede his progress. Downstairs, the severely injured wolf lay on the ground. Ethan faced a crucial decision: whether to end the wolf's life. However, a sudden and severe headache overcame him, causing him to lose consciousness. Upon awakening, he found Vivi had arrived and was urgently pushing him to take action and eliminate the wolf. Ethan hesitated, his thoughts drifting to his wife's strong prohibition against such actions, reflecting on his past. Frustrated by Ethan's choice, Vivi took matters into her own hands and fired the fatal shot, ending the wolf's life. The movie concluded with a scene of Zoe playing on the beach as Ethan decorated a Christmas tree. Shortly after, Christine arrived, bearing gifts for Ethan. Among the presents, Ethan unwrapped one with a red wrapper, revealing a cure sent by Vivi. The film's message resonated, suggesting that it's never too late to seek redemption for past mistakes. The closing scenes depicted a hopeful and reconciled family, embracing the promise of a brighter future together. The journey had been arduous, but in the end, they found solace and healing in one another's presence. That's all from the video. Thanks for your time. And take care.